What's up, people? What's up, people? All right, I got the chat up. Let's get this charging. So, when some people get in here, we'll start to hang out. Say hello in the chat, please. Let me know y'all are in here. Once I get a few people in here, we will start. I'll just use that. Come on, guys. Let me know y'all are in here. Once I get a few people in here, we'll get going. Get a fresh edge back on these two knives I cut tested. What's up, Troy? How's it going, brother? We're gonna just figured I got a little time, might as well just hang out with you guys in a live. Need to get a fresh edge back on these two knives that just cut tested, even though they don't hold an edge worth of crap. But you know, can't have dull knives. Well, hell, they're not necessarily dull. They actually drop right back. But after that cut test, that edge is so fatigued that they go dull almost instantly, just like they did in the cut test. Hey, I'm hanging in there, brother. Hanging in there. It's a beautiful day. Can't be too upset. How's the lighting? Let me click on this. Get some better lighting going on here. Probably ain't going to be too many people in here because nobody was expecting this live. I didn't announce it. Troy, just to make sure, you can hear me, right? If you can, please just let me know in the chat. My audio should be working, but sweet. Thank you, brother. All right, well, hell, we'll go ahead and start. This is that 14C that I just cut test the other day. Performs absolutely terrible. What's up, Sean? How you doing, brother? All right, well, let's get going. This is a Schiefer cut vitrified. It's 400. Knock a little steel off and finish it on 1,000. Yeah, we got a burr, but I'm actually going to remove a little more steel than that. Try to get rid of any of that fatigue steel from that cut test. Got a good healthy burr now. There's where we're at. Nice, consistent. I missed that tip a little bit. There we go. Yeah, man. It is, brother. Like, and we have no voices in the community on the the influencer side of things. Hey, brother, what's up, Aaron? We have no voices. Well, except for me, that really tell it how it is. Everybody else, just like the channels the other day that just 25 new Kaisers, on the table, and every one of them are fantastic. You have nobody except for me that is, and I don't have much of an audience. I don't have a lot of subscribers, but I'm literally the only person who is telling it how it is about these companies putting out poor performing pieces of steel. And so long as we don't have people, like me, that are going to tell it how it is, and when a piece of steel performs poorly, to let people on a public forum know that it's performing poorly, and then these companies need to see a decline in sales, or else they're not going to do anything. And this is what we're going to continue to get. It's sad, man. It's sad. The bigger influencers, they're not going to bite the hand that feeds them. they're gonna say, yeah, all these new Kaisers or Civivis or Wii knives or whatever, they're all great. Go buy them. Just make sure you use my links in the description. Go buy them. That that that's that's what it is. And it's, in my opinion, it is literally ruining the knife community. I took all of them off. Yeah, I mean, that's it, man. Like, Spyderco is the only production company right now that is truly putting out the best production quality heat treats that they can. I mean, man, Spyderco is literally rivaling a lot of your custom, small batch heat treaters. If Spyderco can do it, your other large manufacturers can do it. They just choose not to. Spyderco does it right. Everybody else chooses to have huge profit margins. See, what a lot of people don't realize, when it comes to making these knives, the biggest cost, especially on like the budget end of things, like this knife right here, for example, the biggest cost is in time, in abrasive wear, machine wear. The blade steel doesn't cost very much. Water jets cut it out. Then they heat treat it. They grind it. Grinding, and finishing that blade is what really costs the most money, because that's what burns up the most abrasives. That's what takes the most time. If they can run them a couple points softer, that significantly cuts down on their abrasive wear and finishing time. And that's where the cost is. So that 2 or 3 points makes a big difference over, say, a year of production. If they should be running this piece of steel, say, at 62 minimum, 61 minimum. Let's say that they're going to run a 61, 62. But they can get away with running it at 58, 59 over a year. That is a huge, huge amount of money that they've saved. Huge amount. Especially, some of these companies is making, a company like Civivi, Wii knives, I mean, they're probably making 150,000 knives a month. Now do the math. Why do you think, like, if you buy a Wii knife in 20 CV, you punch that knife, it'll be about 59. It's well known that M390, 20 CV, 204P needs to be 62 minimum to perform. 62 is the number. And that also is really true when it comes to 14C as well, or nitroV. You need that 62. It's a form of fraud. Exactly. It's a form of fraud. And they know that as long as the influencers are pushing their knives and they're just making video after video after video, yeah, this knife's great, go buy it. This knife's great, go buy it. This knife's great, go buy it. As long as they're doing that, they're going to sell bacoodles of them. The average person that buys this knife is going to sit and do this with it. And open up a bag of chips for a couple days. And then this knife is going to go in the box and not be touched again because they're going to have a new one they just got. And now this one's going to do the same thing for a week. And then it's going to go in the box. And then the next one they bought will be the one that's in their hand now. And it's just a constant cycle of that. So the companies know they can get away with it. The influencers, they're not using and testing the knives in the first place, so it doesn't matter to them. As long as you're clicking those links, that's all that matters to them. But to people that actually use their stuff, or even the hell with the people that use their stuff, the people that buy this expecting it to be a good performing product because this isn't a gas station knife, this is a enthusiast type knife. You expect, well, I'm buying better blade steel, I expect better performance. Even if you don't use it, and you don't use it enough to realize, hey, I'm not getting very good performance from this. But that's what you're buying it for. You're buying it because it is a better piece of steel. You're buying it because it is from a quality company. Those people should be just as pissed off as the people that buy it to use it, and then, you know, as soon as they use it, they realize, man, this performs terrible. If we're spending our money on these products, clearly we're not buying gas station knives. We're expecting a higher performance product, and we're paying more money for it, even in the budget realm. And these companies are giving us bullshit. They are giving us is soft to cut that wear resistance down. They are giving us as soft of a piece of steel as they possibly can without it causing problems. And I find that super dirty, because that's unacceptable, man. It's like you said, like exactly what you said. It's a form of fraud. It's dirty because they're getting away with it because they know most people aren't going to be able to go poke this steel and verify, oh, well, what the hell, man, this is 57 HRC piece of 14C. They know most people can't do it. It's nasty, man. It's nasty. And thankfully we have Spyderco, who is actually trying. It is, man. It's basically theft. Like it's legal theft is what it is. Oh, M390 is the biggest culprit, Tactical Center. You know that. Hell, M390 is literally what M390 20CV. That's the ones that I have some that's so bad that it's a joke. And them wasn't cheap knives. And, you know, it's literally a joke. They use Spyderco as an excuse of that. Yeah, absolutely, man. And, you know, I hate to blame it on the influencers, because the influencers aren't making the knives. But at the end of the day, the influencers are the ones that are selling the knives. And they're the biggest culprit, because as long as they're selling the knives for these companies and the company's pockets aren't hurting, they have no incentive to do better. And the worst thing your influencers can do, and I don't care, they can get pissed off at me if they want to. Hey, what's up, Nick Oz? How you doing, brother? Class action? Yeah, 100%, man. I really don't care if the influencers get pissed off at me or not. As I get bigger, they will. Trust me. And I don't really give a shit. Let them get mad. I don't want to be friends with them anyways. The worst thing that can happen by your influencers or your so-called reviewers, when your reviewers are opening a box, flicking it. Oh man, that's comfortable in hand. Look, that action's awesome. You know, oh, it'll carry. It's nice and thin. It'll carry in the pocket nicely. It's comfortable in hand. Lock is rock solid. Oh, that hollow grind, man, that's going to cut so good. Slice a few pieces of paper. It's sharp. And then they turn right. You know, that's the review. And then they say, guess what? I've got a link in the description. Go buy this right now. This is a great knife. That is the biggest problem within the knife community right there. They are reviewing it and telling you to go buy it without using it. And then as soon as they're done with that video, guess what? They go to the next video and they do the same thing. And then as soon as that one's done, they do it again and again and again. And that's why these companies send them 20 frickin' knives a week. And it's just a perpetual cycle. I partially blame the influencers. Yeah, and the knife designers are right there with it too, brother. Especially if it's like a OEM type deal where so and so is designed this knife and they go to, you know, a YouTuber, for example, has designed this knife and they go to this OEM. In that case, they are wholly responsible right along with the manufacturer. So you got manufacturer, influencers, designers, all three of them are the problem. And I hate to say it, the customers are the problem too, because they continue to buy it. And I'm not saying anything against anybody, because I do it too. Oh yeah, not Bees. Bees a great guy. Definitely tells it how it is. He's not going to. He's definitely using it before he tells you to buy it. Okay, let me get caught up on this chat. What percentage of steel disappoints? Outside of Spyderco, 80%, maybe more. Yeah, I'd say. Let's see. Kershaw is doing pretty good. They're doing pretty good Magna Cut right now. Hogue, their Magna Cut's pretty decent. Their 20 CV is not very good. Their S30V is pretty good. Yeah, I'd have to say across, and I'm not just speaking on China brands, because I'm speaking production knives in general. I would have to say in the 70 to 80%, man. Like outside of Spyderco, I would say I get maybe two to three knives out of 10 that I'm actually happy with. And exactly, CF CCFFCC, how they can do a $25 knife in K110 and it perform its ass off. And then a big company like Civivi can't put out a piece of 14C that performs decent. Like that but I know what it is. Well, I believe I know what it is. This company right here, QSP, they're right tied up in that too, and many more. But this company right here, they know they're going to sell a bucket load of knives, whether they do the steel great or not. They're still going to sell a shit ton of knives. A little company like CCFFCC, whatever the hell that stands for, they can't rest on laurels. You know, they're trying to build a brand. They have to put out a good product to start with, or you're going to buy one and then never buy from them again, and then you're going to tell your buddy, and that. So they know they got to put out good stuff right now, and they are. Sativian is doing a great job. Well, on every piece of steel I've had from Sativian, K110, D2, S90V, has all performed really, really solid. Their M390, it's not bad. It's not the S90V is way better, but the M390, it could be better, but it's not bad. I've certainly had much worse. But these companies that are big, they know that people are going to buy their products as long as they put the products in their influencers' hands and get them seen. They know that they're going to sell a bunch of them, and that's why we're getting crap steel. Like, think about it. Kaiser, for example. Kaiser done a really good job on 154 CM. They did a pretty daggum good job on N690. But that was a little and their VG10 was pretty good too. But that was back a while. They wasn't super planted. They hadn't. I mean, they was a popular brand, but this was more in there as they were building their brand. Now we're seeing all this new stuff, nitroV, AEBL, 14C, etc., etc. And we're starting to see like the steel's just performing very badly. Why is that? Well, because now they're to the point to where they're sending influencers 20. I'm opening up 25 Kaiser knives today. They've cemented themselves in the community now. They have a large following, and they sell a shit ton of knives. And now they aren't doing the blade steels nearly as good as they was, say, 3, 4, 5 years ago. But so one thing they do make sure that it's really good, that action. And their tagline is what? Action for you. They're not worried about the blades anymore. They're not worried about putting out a good piece of steel. They're worried about making sure that you got a nice, smooth action. And that's it. Kaiser and 100% Tactical Center. 100%. 100%, brother. Some of the worst S35BN, and y'all know me, I don't really like S35BN. It's not a steel I really care much about. Some of the worst S35BN I've ever had is from ZT. On that little blue one, that's the only knife I have in it from them. It's as good as your average S35BN, like China knife and S35. That's what it is. Like Civivi or like a Wee knife or a artisan cutlery. Just your typical S35BN from China. That HX Outdoors is just like it. The edge retention test will be up on it within the week. But it's for $40. It's way better than this. I'll put it to you that way. And yeah, that knife is I think $42, and these are what, 70. It's way better performing than this. But like I'm tired of it, man. I'm tired of these companies putting out shit steel, and it's and nobody cares. Like the influencers still, circle jerk them, tell them how good of a job they're doing. The customers still buy tons of them, and it's like it's sad, and we're just going to continue to get crappy steel, poorly done heat treats, and steel that's ran way too soft. Until we start holding them accountable and slow down on the purchasing of those products, we're going to continue to get poor performing steel. Like I know I can't change it. It's going to take this channel a long time to get big enough to where like I can actually, that my voice will matter, and that I'll actually be able to get enough views to hurt their bottom line if they're putting out shitty products. But I can tell you guys is that's my full intent with this channel, is to grow it, to get it to where I get enough views to where when I say, when I cut test or sharpen a knife and I'm like, hey, this steel is not done very well, I want it to affect their bottom line, and that will force them to do better. Exactly, Tactical Center. Exactly, man. Man, I'll tell you what, with that Rake company, RUIKE, when I first bought their products, I bought a couple knives in 14C from them years ago when they very first kind of come out. I bought a P801 and one called like a Fang or something like that. Those were pretty good pieces of 14C. They wasn't ran too soft, and they performed pretty good. But I've also bought a piece recently, well, not recently, about 7 months ago, 6-7 months ago, and it's not even close. That second P801 in 14C I bought from them, it's not even close to as good as the first knife I bought from them. It's much softer. It's gummy. Probably absolutely slap full of retained austenite, and just gummy as hell on the stones. Now the first couple knives I bought from them were great. Yeah, exactly. And see, if I'm not mistaken, when Rake or Ryuk or Rake, whatever the hell they're called, when they first when they first came out, they said Sanrenmu was making their knives, and then I believe, like you said, I believe they changed over to Real Steel, and that their 14C dropped 2 or 3 points in hardness. At least that's what makes sense to me. Because initially they said Sanrenmu was going to be their manufacturer, and then they moved over to Real Steel. Now I don't know if this is when they very first come out, so I don't know if they actually did have any made from Sanrenmu. But that was the initially what they said. And what I can tell you is from like when they first come out to now, completely different steel. Yeah, I'm not sure on that. I don't know if Sanrenmu makes knives for everybody, man. Like they're a huge OEM, so they very well could make for Real Steel. I'm not sure. What's up, Tricky? Bring up and ask your opinion on MC collabing with an engine. That's good, man. That's good. I'm heavily debating buying a Rockwell tester. Um, I'm seriously debating on it just because I could make a massive database quickly, and with that guy, it's going to have to be as stuff sent in. And I would ask the same thing, like if to have mail in. If you want to have a couple knives punched, send them in. That way we could build the database just like him. He's charging. I wouldn't charge. I want it for the data. I could build it just based on my collection. I could build a rather extensive database, but offering free hardness testing and having people send in stuff for me to punch and send back, that would let us get a really let me know if y'all can hear me now. For some reason, it dropped my stream. Can y'all hear me now? Yeah, I don't know why it did that. It just cut my stream off for some reason. Okay, cool. Y'all can hear me? Sweet. So, well, hell, I don't know what all y'all heard. Well, Tactical Center, I haven't spoke to the guy, but that man, there's a lot of people like that. So I'll leave. I'm not gonna elaborate on that. I don't know him. Um, but if that is the case, that's not a good thing, and people need to know when they know and when they don't. Yeah, I'm not gonna elaborate on that. I don't know the guy. I have seen that he said he does the best testing and all that. I mean, as long as your Rockwell tester's calibrated and you've got calibrated punch blocks, you know. I mean, there's not a whole lot to it. But anyways, yeah, I don't think anybody should say, "Oh, I do the best of this," because there's always somebody out there that does better. Unless you're Roman. Yeah, Roman Case is pretty much at the top of the hill at what he does. So, anyways, enough of that. But it looks like censor my comments with links, dude. Yeah, shit. The censoring thing, I don't know. It happens on my channel too. Hell, I've put comments on my channel that you would think, since it's my comment on my channel, it should stay there. And I've had my channel censor me. Yeah, exactly. I mean, and the thing is, 3 punches as an average is sufficient. You don't need to 5 punch. I mean, if that's the case, then I could say, well, I'll punch 10 times, so mine's better. That's fucking irrelevant. A 3 punch average is going to give you, a good enough idea. This isn't turbine material for NASA. You know what I mean? What's up, Aiden? How you doing, brother? So, I mean, it's a pocket knife. Like, if your system, if your indenter is calibrated, you pop your punch block, it's within a tenth or two, and you punch a knife, and this isn't rocket science. I mean, these aren't turbo pumps for a a rocket. 5 punches or 3 punches, it doesn't matter. 3 is plenty. Yeah, dude, that's sick, man. That's sick. That's a steel S290 is I've never had any experience with that steel. S390 I have. It's fantastic steel. I mean, okay. Here's the thing. There's only so many places I can punch on this knife. I can punch here. I can punch in the flat section back here. Does that mean that's the same? The hardness is the same here? No, it doesn't. The only place you could really brag about punching is if you could punch right at the edge. Because that's the only thing that really tells you what's truly important. If I punch here and get 60, 58 and a half, and I punch here and I get 59, and I punch here and I get 58 and a half, that doesn't tell me what it is right here. And the only place that's truly important is right here. I mean, that's what you got to do, man. It's listen to what makes sense, filter out the bullshit, and that's the best you can do with anybody. That's the best you can do with anybody. Some people want to be the best at everything they do, and whether they are or aren't, they're going to tell you they are. That's fine. There's a lot of people like that. And to some extent, we're probably all like that. But, everything I say isn't right. And I know that. I'm also not going to tell you that I'm the best at everything. Like, how do I put this? We all There's certain things you know that I don't know. There's certain things I know that you don't know. And that goes across the board. Collectively, us all sharing information helps everybody. It makes us all smarter. But when you take somebody and their ego takes over and they want to be, I know everything, I know the most, I'm the best at this, I have the best equipment, I know how to use it the best, blah, blah, blah. When you have a person like that, sharing knowledge with that person is a waste of time because they already think they know it all. And I hate to say it, but that just creates ignorance. Thank you, McOz. And that's how it is, man. Collectively, that's an important word here. I have my main viewers who you guys, the people that are in this chat, most of y'all watch every video I put out. Y'all comment in every single, exactly, Aiden. Ego and hate, it gets in the way, man. Y'all watch most every video I put out, and when y'all comment, a lot of times y'all's comments are technical comments. And that shares information with my chat and with me. And we all learn. That's why every video I start off, you're going to learn something today. That's all that matters. Even if you don't learn something from me, if you learn something from somebody that says something in the chat, that's good. You learned, and that's what's important. A lot of people they think they know everything, and even when they put something out, even if it's incorrect as shit, and you go make a post on that telling them, hey, well, this isn't right, or, well, I don't think he was right here, whatever the case, they're not going to listen to that. And then they're just going to continue to spread misinformation, thinking they know. And all it does is it collectively hurts the knife community, especially the performance, the part of the community that cares about performance. Thank you, Tactical Center. And yeah, man, that's for me, that's what it's about, brother. It's about learning something. If we're not learning, I can only buy so many knives and have fun with them. You know what I mean? It don't take long before they get relatively boring. It's the learning that makes it fun. My pops used to tell me, I know what I know, and I know what I don't know. Exactly, man. Like, I'm one of them kind of people, and I know I have a very broad knowledge set. I know a decent bit about a lot of things. Like my kids joke around all the time, and they're like, if it's odd or useless information, my dad knows about it. And that's just because I read a shit ton. But I'm not no mega expert on anything. But when I do something, especially if it's something that I really enjoy, I do it. I intend to do it at a high level, and I really invest myself on learning it deeply. That's just how I operate. Learning is what makes this stuff fun to me, and not just this, but anything I do. Oh, 100%. I tell my wife all the time, you know, never assume you're the smartest person in the room. Like, and I'm not telling her, saying that to her like she thinks she's the smartest person in the room. I'm just saying it, period. Like, I never, by no means do I think I'm the smartest motherfucker in the room. Unless it's just me in there. Yeah, no. Oh, 100%, man. Dude, there, with the RPM 9 thing, it was a long, long, long time ago. I was telling people there's no way that's a straight powder metallurgy steel. I know it's not. That, like, I know it wasn't because it's a China produced steel and there wasn't nobody doing that at the time. Like, I was saying it wasn't long before Laren come out with that. Now, I mean, I didn't know it wasn't 100%, but I was pretty damn sure that it wasn't. Like, it's, and yeah, man, if you go back to my videos on it, what I said was a fact. I was like, look at the influencers. They used to tell, oh, RPM 9 is so great, I love it. It's one of my favorite budget steels. Blah 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 blah. Yeah, yeah, it's electro slag is what I assume it is. What I've always assumed it was. But I was like, just watch. They told you how much they loved it and use my links to buy it, and they show you 50 CJRB knives a month, and then as soon as that come out and the community got fired up about it, oh, now all of a sudden they don't like it anymore, and they're mad at it. And then I was like, mark my words, give it a month or two, people are going to forget about it. It's not going to be a big deal anymore, and then you'll start hearing them saying, you'll start seeing it on their channels again, and they'll start saying how great of a budget steel RPM 9 is. And they did exactly what I said to the T. To the T. I mean, is it super thin geometry stuff? Because I've heard some people, talking pretty highly about it when it's up there ran really hard. Pro cut sounds really good. Yeah, I'll just be glad that when we start seeing it used by more makers and even in production knives, and start to really get a feel for it. I hate plunge grinds like this knife has. Absolutely hate it. Real thick, huh? She's like a chopper or something. It does suck, dude. I mean, go back and look at my cut test. I believe I have one piece that performed good. Everything else performed like shit. I had a Crag that I actually give away in the giveaway. That one piece of RPM 9 performed pretty good. Every other piece I've had of it is, I would say, not even decent. Some of it actually pretty bad. You know, it's like that Crag did what, like 60 cuts on half-inch rope. Yeah, 60 cuts on half-inch rope. Most of it seemed to be down there around 30. I mean, you know, but hell, I mean, 30's right there where most of your 14C and nitroV is. You know, 8CR will outcut it in most cases. Exactly. Yeah, it's got to get into users' hands, man. Like, and not one person, you know, and not just on customs. We need to see it in production knives, like a quality production knife in it, where it's, you know, it's ran relatively hard. The geometry is where it is your typical type production knife geometry, because that's how most people are going to experience it. So, you know, that's what we need to see. Amazon special reveal for $30. Yeah, I bought one too. I think when I got it, I got it on sale for 27 for the it's like a mint green reveal. For 27 bucks, I'm not mad at that knife at all. If it gets, you know, if it's a 30 cut knife, yeah, it's a little soft, but I can deal for 30 bucks. I'm okay with that. I like the knife enough to be okay with it. And RPM 9 does one thing really well. I will give it credit in one place. If you got a good, you know, a good emulsion on a good quality strop, that stuff strops back like crazy. Like, you can take it from ridiculously dull to hair popping sharp on a strop. Now, you know, it does strop quite nicely. And companies really need to start learning how to do like a decent plunge grind. Annoying as shit having to deal with a plunge grind like this. Let's see. Lacey blew the whistle. I quoted her comment. 100%. 100%, bro. Like, one thing I got to give credit. I got to give credit to that chick about. Like, she had no problem going on her Instagram and slamming a company. If she sharpened knives in it and it was soft, she was going to be a bitch. That's just the way it was, and I respect that. And I'll tell you this: I've sharpened not a lot of it. I don't like Marfilm. I don't own any Microtech knives because of that reason. But I have sharpened a few for people, and that M390 MK. Now, I don't. Maybe they've changed it, but I've probably sharpened 10, 12 knives in it, and it is not very good. It is way soft. Way soft. I sharpened the first knife I sharpened in it was, I believe, was a Stitch. It might have been an MSI. It was a Stitch or an MSI, and I literally, like, when I touched it to the stones, I actually emailed the guy, that the customers that it was, and I was like, "Is this an actual Microtech knife, or is this like a clone. Like, no, no, no. I bought it from Blade HQ. It's like, what? Like, it was so soft. I'm pretty sure it was an MSI. It was so soft that I thought it was a fake knife. And the next piece I sharpened, I mean, it just matched that, and then I was like, oh well, shit, they're just running it crazy soft. Yeah, man, he's an asshole. Marfion's an asshole. Just the way it is. And that would be the only way I would own one, is if I won it in a raffle or something, because there's no way I would let him spend a cent of my money by buying one of his knives. Even though I like the SOCOM, I do like the SOCOM a lot, but not enough for him to spend $1 of my money. Said they, yeah. Now I haven't sharpened any. Probably in hell, the last Microtech I sharpened was probably 2 years ago. I know when the MSI and the Stitch first come out, I got like a flood of them. I got quite a few, like, and then I got a couple of the OTF, dagger blade OTFs I sharpened, and then I haven't really sharpened any since then. But so I'd say the last one I sharpened was probably 2 years ago. And all of them, I mean, they were all just butter soft, ridiculously butter soft. They had to be in that like 57, 58 range. Like when you touch them to a diamond abrasive and the diamond just digs in, there's no stone skate. Like you just feel the diamond with no pressure, the diamond just really digs into the steel. It's super soft. And that's how that M398 or M390 MK, that's how it acted. Now, if they raise the hardness, good for them. If it is up there around 61, that's going to be a much better performing piece of steel. But I'm kind of mad at the whole just most knife companies in general, man. Like I'm tired of spending my money and getting half-ass products, and like these companies, they need to stop getting away with this. Hard to fathom being a knife guy and thinking that the soft steel is anywhere near. Exactly. And see, that goes to the problem. That's one big problem right there. And I literally, I do it myself. That's why in the video when I cut tested this one, I was like, at the end of the video, I was like, I'm not keeping this. I'm going to send this back. Because normally it's cheap. I'll just keep it. It is what it is. And I'm sharpening it now, so yeah, I'm going to keep it. And that's stupid. Like, this knife performs poorly. This steel is way too soft. It performs like crap. This knife should be on its way back to Amazon right now. Instead, it's only $35. It's not even worth driving to the UPS store to drop it off. I'll just keep it. We all need to stop doing that. If we get a knife and it performs badly, we shouldn't justify it to ourselves. I justified keeping this one by just saying, it's not worth the drive to the store, to drop it off for $35. But that's no good. Yeah, exactly. I mean, exactly. And we need to stop doing that because that company doesn't care. As long as they get the money, they don't care. So by us keeping something that performs poorly, we're just telling them that it's okay. And that's all of us. Exactly. It's a waste of time to box this shit back up and go, send it back. Especially when it's only $35. But like after this one here, that's it. If I get a knife and it performs, it's not up to standards. It's soft. It edge fails quickly. It's going in the box and going right back. Yeah, I mean, exactly, Tactical Center. But that's what influence does, man. That's what influence does, and it's definitely not good. Influencers say stall steel. No, that's bullshit. I mean, I would much rather sharpen this piece of steel right here in the field, not in the field, don't matter. If this was at, say, 62, I would much rather sharpen this at 62 than I would 58. It would be quicker. I'd have a much longer lasting edge. The sharpening would be quicker. I'd have a crisper edge. It'd deburr nicer. Like, they use that, if I run it harder, it's going to be not as tough and it'll be harder to sharpen. Yeah, they just use that as bullshit. Kaiser is the most influential. You're not wrong, bro. You are not wrong. They are really in the influencers' pockets, and they have that, by sending out tons of knives to them, and exactly what you said. They're one of the most influential China brands out there. And outside of their 154 CM, which now I don't even think they're doing anymore. Now it's all nitroV and AEBL and 14C. Worst heat treatments. You're not wrong. That's a fact. That is a fact. But so long as they're sending those influencers 20, 30 knives at a time, and, well, we know what we're going to keep getting. The influencers are not going to speak. They're not going to speak badly of the hand that feeds them. The people are going to buy because the influencers tell them to. The company makes money. There's no incentive for them to change anything. So we just keep getting soft, shitty steel. That's just the loop. Like, I'm not gonna lie. I don't buy these type knives anymore. I bought this right here because it was $35, and I'm like, it is what it is. I knew it was gonna be bad. They always are. But I was like, fuck it, for $35, if it, But that's bad. I shouldn't have done that. Yeah, it's not paid. LOL. Exactly. Yeah. I mean, come on. Like, it pisses me off when I hear them say, "Oh yeah, I'm not being paid. I'm not being paid to do these routes." Bullshit. They are in your pocket. They might not be writing you a check directly, but you are most certainly being paid. Yeah, that's fact, McCause. That is a fact. That is definitely SE marketing. This burr is flippy, floppy. Oh, it's gummy. That bird does not want to come off that piece of steel for nothing. That is one gummy ass piece of steel right there. God. I don't know, man. We just collectively we need to make these companies pay. We need to not buy their product if they're not putting out a good piece of steel. We shouldn't buy their products. Simple as that. Tell me about it, Aiden. Meaning I'm okay with Emerson. Yeah, I mean, I get it, man. Like, soft doesn't necessarily mean terrible. Like, and you know, a lot of people will look at an HRC suggestion from the manufacturer, like, oh, we run this 58 to 60, and you know, they'll automatically see that as soft, and that means bad. Soft doesn't necessarily mean bad. A lot of people don't understand that. Hardness is just one part. Final hardness is just one part of what makes a good performing piece of steel. Most of us know that. There's a lot that don't know. You can have, a shit quality heat treat with all kind of microstructure issues, and it be ran hard as shit, and it's still going to perform terrible. But Emerson, like, yeah, I mean, I have some 154 CM from them. It performs pretty decent. It is definitely soft, but it performs all right. CRK and Emerson did a line with, yeah, I mean, I would too, man. Like, that's why I won't. I haven't owned a piece of CRK in MagnaCut. Maybe they're doing it great now, but the S35BN and the S45BN I've had from CRK and multiple knives in each steel, and it's always terrible. Way too soft. Edge retention is almost laughable, and it doesn't sharpen very nicely. It doesn't hold an edge very good. It's just, when you're talking that kind of money to get that kind of performance, like, I have a problem with that, and that's exactly why I don't own any more Chris Reeves knives. And yeah, exactly. Tactical Center, 100%, man. Like, I have a couple chisel grind 154 CM Emersons that, like, yeah, so I've literally used as pry bars, and they take it. And that's why I wouldn't fuss about them too much. We know what those knives are used for. What they're intended for, and I've used them that way myself. CRK has been 63, 64. I'm not a fan of MagnaCut. I mean, yeah, I get it, man. I'm not. One video that I actually posted that I got some hate on was, a MagnaCut video, and me saying, it's just a compromise steel, and it is not. It's nothing more. It's a compromise steel, and yeah, Some people didn't appreciate that. I'm not a huge MagnaCut fan, by no means, actually. And when it's ran hard, it's decent. I don't mind it, especially if you got nice thin geometry. It can be good, but it's not nothing that, it kind of tickles me every time, I'll be reading something and like people's comments, and you'll see people calling it the best steel, or, the best super steel. And it's like, yeah, come on, man. Not even close. Not even close. Like, but that's what influence will do. That's a prime example of what influence will do. You have all these people, the people they watch telling them how great MagnaCut is and how it's the newest, coolest steel out there, and they go around and basically repeat what their favorite influencers say, and it, how MagnaCut is so great, and it's the best steel out there, and it's the best super steel you can get. They just don't know any better. I mean, and and those are the type of people who could go buy a pocket knife and they have MagnaCut stamped on the blade, and that MagnaCut's at 60 HRC, and to them that's still the best knife that you could get. It's great because it's MagnaCut. Let's make a few passes on Lacey's 3 micron. I'm just going to give this knife to my son as a beater. He's pretty tough on knives, so he'll use the hell out of it. Now let's see if I made them sharp. I'm pretty sure they're sharp. Now, how long they'll stay sharp, that's a different story. Oh, yeah. Good and sharp. Nice bitey edge. Beautiful. But they won't stay that way, but for a few cuts, y'all know that. All right, let's see. What's the chat saying? Pete just did a video on MagnaCut and 1200 cuts, which is pretty impressive. Yeah, I mean, MagnaCut, like Spyderco's MagnaCut, for example, it's pretty damn good. Like, I don't dislike it. It's a good EDC steel. In a $150 knife. I have no problem with it necessarily, but there is much better. Like, give me a piece of M4 any day over a piece of MagnaCut. Okay, those Angerstone paste, they are a great budget option. Are they as good as your high performance emulsions? No, they are not. If you're just looking for something to polish and refine a little bit, really polish, they do great for that. If you're looking for a high performance emulsion that's going to keep really aggressive bite in your edges, they're not that. The diamond is really, it's just that round, it's very consistent in size, and there's plenty of it, but it's more of a round type mono diamond that is very good at polishing, but it doesn't necessarily cut very good. Or it cut, that's the wrong word. It doesn't keep bite the way a quality emulsion will. Like Lacey, that 3 micron from Lacey. That's not going to, in say you make 10 passes on the strop, like I just, 5, 10 passes, whatever I just made, okay, I still have crazy bite in this edge. And that's 3 micron. A ton of tooth in this edge right here. Let's say I did that on, the anger stone, at what, 3 micron would be what, about 5,000 grit. So let's say I just used a 5,000 grit anger stone paste. And I do exactly the same thing, exactly same amount of passes. I am going to definitely lose some bite over like Lacey's. And that's just got to do with the difference in the shape of the diamond. That more round diamond, it polishes more. That's what it does. It polishes. So it polishes, and yeah, it'll refine and bring up the stickiness, but the actual bite in the edge, it will reduce it pretty rapidly. Is where like Lacey's emulsion or another good emulsion like Stroppy stuff, that's going to keep your bite much higher. It's not going to polish those micro serrations off so quickly like this stuff will. But if you're just looking for a very low cost option that will do a pretty good job at bringing edges back after you've used them, it works great for that. It polishes very nicely, and it does a decent job at removing, like, if you got a gummy or a gummy burr that's kind of being stubborn, it'll do an okay job at removing that. The quality emulsions with much sharper, crisper diamond is going to remove that burr, that stubborn burr, much easier and much fewer passes. So it's exactly like plain and simple. And I like to, how do I put this? For the price, just exactly what Aiden said. High performance, great price, Lacey's. Simple as that. You're getting top quality diamond, a ton of it, that sticks to the strop very nicely, very easy to apply, doesn't make a mess, doesn't make your strop gummy from the paste. And for what, I think $23 a bottle or $21 a bottle, whatever it is, shipped. That's what, if you're looking for high performance, go that route. If you're looking for just refinement, bringing the edges back, you're not really worried about having a lot of bite. All you want to do is polish and, refine and bring some edges back, even though they're going to get slick pretty quickly. That's where that anger stone stuff is beautiful at. because it's cheap. But if you're looking for top performance, go with Lacey's. It's cheap. It's still priced very well. You get a ton of it. It lasts for a very long time. Yeah, that it's kind of like, how do I put it? You have like the Anger Stones would be a base model Corvette. It still does. It's fun to drive. It'd be fun to drive. It's a good looking car. And then Lacey's is going to be, or stroppy stuff. Lacey's is going to be a ZR1X. That would be a prime way. That'd be a good analogy. Let's see. He should change rope thickness, but Pete hasn't tested it yet. Probably not, dude. Yeah, I agree, dude. Like, the M390, I've seen him test is either on China stuff or like Italian stuff, so it's going to be soft. And I agree. The thing is, 3/8 inch with 3/8 inch sisal rope, it's thin enough to where you can basically push cut it. Going to 1/2 inch, it requires you. I mean, you could push cut it, but it's going to be a bitch. So on 1/2 inch, you're gonna have to make some actual sawing cuts, and that wears that really puts more wear on that edge, and shows the breakdown of the edge much better than just push cutting through it. So I agree that the 3/8 inch is too thin, and I believe 1/2 inch shows much more. It shows the breakdown of the edge much better than like 3/8 of an inch would. I don't want my microphone to die. Hang on 1 second, guys, because this one's probably going to die here soon. Can y'all hear me? Yeah, okay, it's working good. I just changed the microphones because they don't last very long. Let's see. Makes sense. Yeah, I'm trying to put it in words is kind of tough, tricky. Like, it's they both do very different. Even though they kind of do the same thing, they do it very differently. Like I said, with the Corvette, the base model Corvette, it'll take you anywhere you want to go, and it'll be fun to drive and pretty fast. But if you want to really have fun and have all that power and a great handling car, you go with the ZR1X. Good analogy. Yeah, I appreciate it, man, because those Dr. Marv stones, they're interesting. Like, I'm having a lot of fun learning those stones because they are very, very different than. Like, I'm really glad Aiden let me try those out because they were too expensive for me to invest in without trying them out first. They're really interesting stones. Like, they're very, very good, but they're very unique. And what I really like about them, I much prefer them using them freehand than I do on the system. And I've really gotten to feel how the stones perform by using them freehand. I've got quite a few videos that are coming up on those stones. The edge quality is really impressive. I I very, very much like them. And I'm still figuring out, and I'm still learning them. So the edge quality is only going to get better and better. And I'm really impressed so far with those stones, and with how that 30 acts. Man, I want a 150 micron bad, like mega bad. I can't seem to get to blade bend. Keep getting 403 errors. So Angry Stone CD. And tricky. You can buy from her. Like, I don't buy from her to blade binge. I buy from her directly because she sells it even cheaper. What's her email? Hang on a second. I'll tell y'all her email. Hold on, let me look it up. And then you can buy it directly from her because, you know, Blade Binge, of course, takes a cut. So if you buy it direct from her, she sells it to you. She sells to me for $19 a bottle instead of, I think, $23 on the site. Okay, here's her email. And yeah, she's told me before I can give it out, so I'm good on that. Okay. Yeah, send her an email, and you know, that way Blade Binge ain't making, you know, you're not paying basically Blade Binge. No, I mean, she does 19, like I said, for me 19, I'm pretty sure that's what it's always been if you buy direct from her. That's what she's always charged me, and other people that I know that have bought from her has always been 19 too. But if you buy through the site, I think it's 21 or 23. I think 23. But that's because Blade Binge, they charge more shipping. I know because I went to look to sell some stuff on there. Their shipping prices is higher, and yeah, they charge like, I think, 8% or 7.5%. But if you look at their shipping rates are higher than what if you just use like pirate ship by a pretty significant amount. So yeah, just email her and she'll take care of you. Because anytime I've ever bought, I just send her email and then PayPal her the money, and 2 days, a day, usually the next day, or I get it within 1 to 2 days. It's in my mailbox. Yeah, I bought a 6-pack from her about, hell, I don't know, a long time ago, probably about 2 years ago. I still have like probably more than half a bottle of all of them. As far as the emulsions, what sizes? Here's what I really like: that 15 double concentration. I've never had a burr like on the gummiest steel I've ever sharpened. 15 double concentration, 2 or 3 passes, it'll remove that burr. If it's a really nasty one, you know, really gummy, nasty burr, it might take 5 or 6 passes and it'll take it off. So what I personally like, I like the 15 double concentration, 9 double concentration, 5 normal concentration, 3, and 1 normal concentration. I also like the 0.1 normal concentration as well. But my main ones I use are probably, I'd say the 9.3 or the 9.5. 9.5 and 3 are what I use the most for sure. It's really good stuff. It sticks to the strop nicely. You don't have to constantly reload it, and it cuts so nicely. Super consistent. It's good stuff, man. Yeah, the one I don't have. I might have 0.5. Hold on, actually, I might. I don't think I do, but I might. No, I have. Yeah, I have 0.1. I didn't think I had no 0.5 from her. But the 1 and 0.5 or the 1 and 0.1 are fantastic. Yes. Yeah, anytime, brother. Yep. That's what. Yeah, 15 double concentration, 9 double concentration, 5, 3, and 1 normal. Correct. And if you want to just get the 6-pack deal, get you a bottle of 0.1 normal concentration, because I have some of the I have 5, 3, and 1 also in double concentration, but it's just too aggressive in my opinion, or too aggressive for most needs. I do use it, but it's really aggressive. Later, Tricky. Thank you for hanging out, brother. But yeah, so yeah, if you go with that 15, 9, 5, 3, and 1, and if, like I said, if you just want to get the 6-pack deal she sells, add the 0.1 or 0.5 normal, you'll be happy with that. But the 15 and 9 double concentration is gnarly. Uh, uh, where's my bottle at? Hell, I'm out. I need to go on order. I need to email and order a couple bottles of it. I finished out the one trial bottle I had. I think she just calls it stone lubricant or lapping fluid. Are you looking on Blade Binge, or are you talking about to buy it direct from her? Because if you go on Blade Binge, type in Lacey's, LACEY, stone fluid. That's what it's on under there. Hang on a second. Give me one sec. I'll put links. Because Blade Binge's search is kind of messed up. It doesn't work very good. Let's see. How can I get that? Their search is it sucks. Okay, for the stone lubricant. Okay, so here's the link for this one. This is for the 6-pack. Oh, okay, yeah. If you're going to stay away from Blade Binge, yeah, just email her then and save you some money. But since I've already got it, I'll go ahead and put the link up to it anyways if anybody uses Blade Binge. And this is the first one that popped up. is the 6-pack, so I just post that one. But she sells, I think, 1 bottle, 2 bottles, 3 bottles, 4 bottles, and 6 bottles sets. That's what I'm seeing on here, anyways. And the stone lubricant is here. All right, there y'all go. Yeah, it's for reference, exactly. So I say if anybody wants to go look it up. Plus, you can messenger on there too if you want to speak directly to her. Their messaging system actually works pretty decent. That's what I use it for. I don't like buying anything on there because I don't really like how the payment processor works. I've had it double bill me, and now it fell off, but I've had it double bill me 2 times from buying on there. And I didn't really appreciate that, even though like 3 days later the second charge fell off, and this is when I bought 2 knives on there. But I wasn't very happy about that. After that, like, I just use it to message. If I'm gonna buy, if I'm gonna buy something, I just message the person and then work it out, and we deal outside of Blade Binge. And yeah, exactly, Aiden. And that's another thing. You have most of them on there are trying to get absolute top dollar for everything they're selling. They're basically turning it into eBay, which is kind of shitty. Kind of shitty. But if I'm looking for like secondhand stuff, I prefer to just do like like secondhand deals on like a Reddit. That's the site. The Reddit is ran good. It's moderated good, and I've never had no problems on there. Never been scammed. Just follow the rules and everything's good. And people aren't trying to get absolute top dollar. And I get it. I mean, people want to get what their item is worth. I don't have a problem with that. But when it's just blatant scalping, I do have a problem with that. And Blade Binge is pretty much becoming scalper central. I found some Maximate gems on Blade Binge, but man, do they get carts white? Yeah, I don't even, after I had that double billing issue 2 times, 2 knife purchases, and both times I got double billed, I pretty much don't even look for knives on there anymore, because I'm not going to buy them, because I don't want billing issues like that. Only looked once on Blade Binge, didn't find anything interesting. Yeah, the thing is, man, if you do go on there and somebody's got something that is interesting, you can bet your ass they're going to be asking eBay money for it. Scalper type pricing, eBay money. 200, something that should be going at $200 realistically on the second hand, and it's going to be for like $260 on there. Because what they do, on eBay, people have to sell for more because eBay charges ridiculous fees. But that's all them sellers on there. That's what they do. They go look at completed listings on eBay, and they find the highest completed listings, and that's what they mark their stuff at. So, even though the fees are less on Blade Binge by like a lot, they want eBay money because they think that's what the knife is worth because that's what it sold for on eBay. Yeah, man, eBay can suck it. I don't. eBay charges their fees are insane. I've sold on there a couple things years ago, but hell no. I will buy on eBay occasionally if it's something that I can't find anywhere else and I really need it. I'll buy on there, but that's the only circumstance. Is they allow number one, they allow counterfeit sellers to just sell counterfeits. If you report them, they don't do nothing. Their fees are obnoxious. Like eBay can suck it. Hard pass on what? Blade Binge or eBay? Like, and I don't. I think eBay. I mean, I think Blade Binge is actually a good thing. Number one, the people who run it are pretty good dudes. Um, any interaction I've had with them has been positive. Oh yeah, for sure, hard pass at eBay, no doubt. But Blade Binge, I think it's good for the community, but the problem lies the people on there using eBay completed listings as their judge of value. Oh yeah, dude, Cold Steel, Spyderco, Kershaw, Benchmade, absolute rampant on eBay. Absolutely rampant. In fact, you really better, like, if I was going to buy anything on eBay and it's not from a store seller, like I wouldn't buy it because the odds of you opening the box and having a counterfeit in it are like way higher than not. The community thinks there's some, yeah, 100%, 100% tactical center, 100%, brother. And it's like it. I'll give a prime example. And this shit's annoying. I have a lot of like the Sodbuster Junior like exclusives, and I really need a Sodbuster Junior, the PB&J carbon steel, the 1095 carbon, SMKW PB&J exclusive. I really need one of those, and I'd have pretty much the set complete. But I missed it. And you go on eBay and people are asking, like, every one of them are like $250, and that's just insulting. Like, like they paid $59 or $69, and they're asking $250 for it on, and that really sucks because most of those people who are on there, they literally bought that knife with no intentions of using it or wanting it for their collection. They literally buy them to flip them on eBay for 5 times their money. And that's super annoying because if it wasn't for those people doing that, I wouldn't have had, people that actually want them for their collections wouldn't have a problem getting them. I cannot stand scalpers. Blade forums. Yeah, dude. And see, that's the thing. It's a prime example. Some of the forums, even on Facebook, on the Facebook groups, sometimes you'll find fantastic deals because it's people like you and I who are selling. we're selling something because we want to get something else. We're not trying to get top dollar for it, you know, and you wind up finding good deals. And that's why on like the Reddit knife swap, you can score some really good deals on there because it's people like you and I, you know, that we're not trying to get top dollar. We just want to sell the knife for a reasonable price so we can go buy the next knife we want. And that's where knife swap is really great. Like I will say, a lot of the sellers are really cool people on there. You just have to, you know, you gotta watch who you deal with so you don't get scammed. But if you watch what you're doing, it's safe, and you can get some really good deals. You can get some really good deals. I scored a G10 brand spanking new in box, G10 M4 satin, the JG10 Blade HQ Manix. If you go on eBay, you find a new one, they'll be asking like $300 for it. I paid on Reddit Knife Swap $169 shipped. And that's not unheard of. Like you'll find plenty of deals on there where people are selling for absolutely fair prices. I bought a Blade HQ M4 lightweight Manix. I think $120 shipped, brand spanking new. Oh yeah, dude. Tough to get a deal on eBay, 100%. Because the thing is, if somebody does list it at a really good price, it's bought instantaneously. So if you're not just happen to be searching at that moment when it gets posted, that knife's going to be gone before you ever have a chance to buy it. Now, I will say, I did about a year ago. I got a smoking deal on a brand spanking new, British Racing Green, swayback stretch, and ZDP 189. It's brand spanking new in the box, whole 9 yards. Dude listed it at $100 and $5 shipping, and I just happened to see it and bought it like within a few seconds of him posting it. Scored a hell of a deal. If you go look right now, I guarantee you, if you find a new one, they're asking like $220 minimum. You ended up buying that 1K? That was a solid deal. That was a solid deal. I debated on grabbing it myself when you sent me the link. I just I didn't need it. I don't need another one, but at that price, like I wouldn't mind having it just as trade bait, Oh, dude, Instagram is like Instagram is just it's turned into a shithole. It is literally turned into a shithole. Years ago, like 3-4 years ago, it was cool, but now it's just a shithole. I just won't use Reddit, being that it's DARPA. But yeah, I get it. I've heard that too. I didn't know that was true. So it literally is a DARPA project. Yeah, IG is washed out as facts. But yeah, I've heard that about Reddit being a DARPA project. I had no clue. I mean, I did when I heard it. I didn't believe it, but I've seen it said multiple times. That's interesting. Hell, man, half the things that we use every day at one point were DARPA projects, one way or another. But Instagram is just it's kind of sad because it used to be really cool, like, and not just for the knife community, like, because my knife account's only been on there for like a year, but like my personal account was more firearm related, and like it was great. 3, 4, 5 years ago, it was great, and then it just, I don't know. So about 2 years ago, it's 2.5 years ago, it just turned into a cesspit. Like, anything you post, it seemed like anything you post, it gets flagged, and now you're fighting with them, you're fighting with Instagram to appeal it, and half the things, like, you post a picture of a gun in your hand, and it says it's been flagged for pornography or some dumb shit like that. Then you appeal it, and they decline your it's just stupid. Yeah, exactly. I'd say for when I really noticed it start becoming like a cesspit was probably about 22. And now I'm not saying like it really become bad, started getting bad around 22, but back like in like 1920, 2020, 2019, it was pretty decent. It just really started getting to be a cesspool at about 2022. But if you go back, like you said, 2015, 16, 17, Instagram was awesome. It was literally awesome. And now, like, I have a bunch of people telling me, and I've tried. I put occasional videos on there, but I have people telling me, man, use TikTok. Use TikTok. It's gonna help out. It'll help you grow your YouTube way faster. And I don't like TikTok very much. I can say that. I have posted a little bit on there just to see if it would actually help me with growing YouTube, and I just don't like that site. The decline started 2019. Yeah, I agree. I agree. It started, yeah, I'd say 2019, 2020 is when it started to really make a decline. And then, like I said, I don't know so much about like on the knife end of Instagram, but like on the gun end of Instagram, it just 2022, it just took a shit, and it's just gotten worse ever since. And then like I got tired of dealing with everything I post. I was having to fight for an appeal, and I'm like, this is just not worth it. Like, it's a picture sharing site. I'm not doing anything wrong. I'm not violating their terms of service. But everything I post, I'm fighting. I'm having to appeal and appeal, and it's like, yeah, it's just not worth it. I closed that account. Like, I really, what I really wish a true, like, what's that site, Rumble? I would like to see, I believe it's Rumble. I would like to see Rumble become really mainstream, That way the censorship bullshit would stop. Like, but I've noticed it on YouTube. Like, how in the hell is YouTube going to censor my own comments on my own channel? Like, it's baffling, dude. Yeah, I totally agree, dude. I've literally I'm speaking to Tactical Center on this. I have literally seen a comment, you comment, and then I go to reply to it, and then I get an error, and your comment's gone. And there wasn't nothing in that comment that should be censored. I've seen it quite a few times on your messages. I'd say easily 10 times. Easily 10 times. And I've also myself made a reply to somebody, and there's no I'm not saying bad words or saying anything wrong. I reply to somebody, and then my message is gone. How in the hell are they going to censor my comments on my own channel? Like, that just doesn't make any sense. Yeah, I bet, dude. 2015, it probably was great. I really wish I would have started this channel pre-COVID. Like, if I'd have started doing knife videos, yeah, like 2015, 16, 17, like in that range, I really wish I would have done that. Like, I genuinely wish I would have started back then. I may have a big enough voice now to be able to help get us better done pieces of steel by now. Yeah. Like, one thing I hate is censorship. Like, that's why I won't use Facebook. Now, I will use Facebook. I have a Facebook account for knife groups. That way, if like, mainly for secondhand stuff. But past that, I won't use it. Like, I would never have a personal Facebook account that I go on and post on. Hell no. Hell no. I don't like Facebook politics. I don't like how they operate. No. If it wasn't for me, needing a Facebook account for certain groups for, potential secondhand knife purchases, I would not even have a Facebook account, period. Rumble is funded by people. They also require things that basically give them your identifiable information, basically collect your data. I mean, that's the thing, dude. There's always going to be some negative. Supposedly they don't censor anything, but there's definitely some negative to any social media. It doesn't matter. You're going to have some negative. If they would just cut out there was no censorship, I could deal with them collecting a little data on me, because they're collecting the data on you anyways. Okay, a long time. I would say, realistically, I've been doing it like at a hobby level for probably 20 years, maybe 20, no, longer than that, probably 25 actually. And then, of course, when I was a young, a kid, basically, I was sharpening my hunting knives, and I've been sharpening since I was like 10 years old, 8 years old, 9 years old, if something like that. I can remember 9, 10 years old sharpening my uh, little trapper to go hunt, getting ready to hunt on a little like flea market dollar silicone carbide stone. But I'd say doing it at a higher level for probably like 25 years, something like that. A long time. Yeah, 20 plus. Yeah, I don't remember, when I would say when I really started like at sharpening as a hobby, but it would be in that 20 to 25 year range. I mean, yeah, dude, it's that's it. It's always negative. Like we're we're in a we're in a odd point in time where there's very few positives. There's very few win-wins. You're almost always choosing the lesser of two evils, and that's kind of scary because it's only getting worse, and it's not going to get better. Not not until some real major shit happens, and I was talking to my kids, and they were asking me, who do I think has a better childhood, me or them? And they're like, with us, we have all this technology, and you know, life is funner now than when you were a kid. And I'm like, yeah, no, I would not want to be. I would not want to be 15 years old right now. Like I would. I mean, of course, I'd like to be 15 years old again. You know, give me that youth. I'd be happy to be 15, like health wise. All right, Tactical Center. It was fun talking, brother. But I don't think I would want to be 15 now. I think my generation, we definitely had more fun as kids than the kids do now. It was just life was better back then. Like the technology and all is cool, yes, but I would I wouldn't trade my childhood for a childhood today. No way. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that I'm not alone with that. I would imagine most people would agree that they wouldn't want to be 15 years old today when if they're my age or older. Like you know, just the fact of going to school and having to worry about getting shot up. That was nothing we ever thought about. And I mean, that's just, of course, one little small part, but it's crazy stuff, man. Like the world is something else. Let me ask y'all a question. What's gas prices looking at or looking like where y'all are at? I'm glad to say my childhood is not like. This day and yeah, same here, brother. Same here. You know, I had not virtual friends. I had real friends. We played. The moment we got home from school, homework, outside, play like hell until, you know, it was time to come in. And getting old sucks, but at the same time, man, I wouldn't trade my youth for to be a young man in today's world. And it's only going to get worse. Yeah, I can't believe it. Here we're at 4:30. 4:30. Box bike? What's that? Box bike all day? BMX. Okay. Yeah, that's where we're at. 429. The station is across from my house. That's exactly what it is. 429. The one a little bit further down was 440, but that one's kind of a little kind of out in the boonies a little bit, so they always charge more. But yeah, I got a feeling $5 ain't far away. And what's crazy, dude, diesel. Thank you, man. I appreciate that. I'm trying to. I want this channel to benefit the knife community and not just be another commercial. And I'm glad to know I've got a lot of people that are backing me on it. But I couldn't believe it when diesel was over 550. Hell, I think it might be six, almost six actually. But yeah, I'm gonna make sure that you guys have a channel that is not just another billboard. I'm gonna tell y'all how it is, and you know, if the products perform good, you'll know it, and if they perform bad, you can bet your ass you're gonna know it. Same here, man. Knives and sharpening is literally occupy my brain off the wild stuff that is oh so common today. Negative 21. See, dude, it's like 90 degrees here right now, like 90 Fahrenheit here right now. Seriously, it was hot as hell today. I don't even know. Negative 21°C. What is that in Fahrenheit? Uh, 6 degrees. So not okay. Not. I was thinking it was way below freezing. Okay, so 6 degrees is way colder than it gets here. I think the yeah 4 to 4:34. That man, that's crazy. Like I know, give it another 2-3 weeks, it'll be $5 a gallon. I'm from Florida. Born and raised here, but not in the wild ass part. You know, like crazy ass Florida that you see on the news all the time. We're, you know, born and raised just a good old country boy from the good part of Florida where you have people with common sense. You get a lot of places in Florida, man, people are just total nutcases. What part of Florida Customs, if you don't mind? I'm right on the Florida-Georgia line. Yeah, that's crazy, man, to think it's 6 degrees up there. And I was sweating my ass off today. It's crazy there's that much of a difference. And Hernandez, is that South Florida? I'm not familiar with Hernando. It depends. It depends on a couple things. It depends on the type of stone. It depends on what you're trying to do. I am the type of I sharpen a little more heavy-handed than probably most people do. But that's how I enjoy sharpening. I don't mind a little more stoneware. Lakeland, yeah, Lakeland's nice. I've been down there many times. In fact, about 25 years ago, I eat at the Olive Garden in Lakeland and almost died. I had like a mega allergic reaction, and I'm not allergic to shellfish, but I had some major allergic reaction to whatever, something that was in that pasta, and it almost killed my ass. Like that was not a fun night. Um, um, 1 hour north of Tampa. Oh, okay, gotcha. Yeah, so little south of Cedar Key. Yeah, used to go to Cedar Key all the time. But back to the pressure thing. It just it a lot of it has to do with yeah. Tell me about it. They said it was an iodine overdose. That's what the hospital, when they were guessing. Um, but almost killed my ass, man. I was about 20 years old. So hell, that's more than 20 years ago. I think I was 19 actually. But back to the pressure thing. It really depends. A lot of it depends on the abrasive. Um, like on a CBN plate or a diamond plate, I'm not going to use nearly as much pressure as I would on, say, like a synthetic water stone, or a vitrified diamond stone or something like that. But you can use a little more pressure. A lot of people will try to make it sound like you shouldn't use any pressure, and personally, I disagree with that. A little bit of pressure is your friend. Right? Usually, when I'm teaching people, what I suggest, use enough pressure to where, okay, let me explain it like this. If you try to use too light a pressure, it becomes difficult to hold an angle. So what I suggest is use enough pressure to where you can start to comfortably maintain your angle. You don't need to be you know, just applying a ton of pressure, but I would say when I'm pressing on the blade here, let's say when I'm applying pressure, just when my you know, you see my fingertips are red right now, of course, and as I apply pressure, right when they start to you start to see them kind of turn white a little bit. That's about how much pressure I use. Yeah, I'd say that would be a good guide of how much pressure I personally use. But I probably use a little more pressure than most people do. Call of Duty, man, that thing is good. That is a hell of a stone, brother. Only pressure I don't use is on, oh yeah, for sure. You definitely don't want to use no pressure, especially on like a a 2x72 or 2-inch belt grinder. You don't want to use pressure there, or you will seriously remove some steel. But yeah, man, that Kentiv 400, that is a hell of a stone. It's up there with some of the best sharpening stones I've ever used. Period. Regardless of price. And that's hard to believe that, a little obscure company like that it, nobody's really ever heard of is making stones that good. They've got some PhD material science people working for them, and they did a hell of a job. I personally apply pressure on the stone when sharpening. Yeah, I mean that's kind of okay. On diamond plates or CBN plates, like electroplated abrasives, you'll hear a lot of people say, "Oh, don't apply any pressure." That's wrong. Um, when you need to apply enough pressure that the diamond or CBN or whatever can cut. If you're not applying enough pressure, the steel is just going to skate across the diamond. And while yes, it may scratch it, but you're not actually removing material. Um, on electroplated abrasives, you don't need to use as much pressure as you would on, say, like a synthetic water stone, but you absolutely have to apply some pressure. That's like on electroplated abrasives, I say to use enough pressure to where you can start to feel the diamond or CBN cutting into the steel. That's probably 1/3 as much as I would use on like a water stone. You were the first person I have seen that used it on what? Yeah, 100%. I was no doubt about it. I was the first review. I believe I was the first purchaser of those stones. Um, I was the first review. I was definitely the first video on it. And I mean, to be completely honest, I seen them and I'm like, I'll take a chance. Um, But I'm not going to lie. I fully intended they were going to be pretty bad. I was like, I'll take a chance. If they're bad, I'll send them back, and I'll let people know don't buy them. And literally, as soon as I took that stone out of the package, I was like, wow, this is definitely not what I was expecting. I could tell, without even sharpening on it, that was a high quality stone. And I was like, sprayed some water on it, started sharpening. Like within 20 seconds of sharpening, I went back and bought the whole set. And then I went and bought the 400 of the mixed abrasive one, the 36, 70% diamond, just to give it a chance. And I was like, wow, they're really good too. They are really good, both of them. Like the diamond one with the base on it is definitely the better of the two, but man, that mixed abrasive models are really, really good stones as well. Like that, I really, really like the mixed abrasive ones. These right here, I really like the edge finish that these stones leave. They leave a ton of bite. Like they don't leave nearly as refined, even like the 5K. Now, don't get me wrong, it leaves a full mirror, but it leaves a much more aggressive mirror than a 5K typically leaves. Like this, the 1000 leaves an extremely aggressive edge, and I really like that. Like I like super aggressive edges, and the mixed abrasive really, really leaves super aggressive edges. The the pure diamond ones with the plate or the bottom piece, the aluminum bottom piece, leaves a much more refined edge. Still with plenty of bite, but not nearly as much bite. What do you think of Kaiser's new LMAX? Okay, now I will say this. I can't say it about now, but I have a couple LMAX knives from Kaiser that were, bought 2 years ago, probably. And the reason I did is because I remember reading a post on Reddit from Lacey that their LMAX was pretty good. So I went and bought it was a Towser K with like dark matter, fat carbon, and LMAX, and I bought the Cormorant in LMAX. I had both of those knives punched, and they were both over 62 Rockwell, and perform quite nicely. They sharpen nicely, and that is the only powder metallurgy steel that I have ever suggested that you buy from Kaiser would be their LMAX. Now, that is if they're continuing to do it today as they did it 2 or 3 years ago. So yeah, if the LMAX is like it used to be, it's going to be a quite good performing piece of steel. By the way, that Militol is not the Militol I just cut test. This one here is not 154 or 154 cm. This is nitroV. Kaiser's 154 they do a pretty good job on 154 cm. I have quite a few knives from them in 154 cm, and every piece has always been at least pretty good. I've never been let down by their 154. Now their AEBL, their nitroV, their 14C, terrible. Or yeah, I don't know about terrible, but close to it.